So we met in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, while I was brewing at a place called the Mad Boar in North Myrtle Beach. And at the end of one of my brew days, I came out to the bar, and there was a lovely young lady who caught my attention.
Notice the eye roll.
She caught my attention because, one, she was very attractive. Two, she was enjoying a beer sampler and reading a book on what I assumed was her vacation.
Yeah.
And I was most impressed by the fact that there was a woman who was taking a chance and enjoying craft beer in sampler form. So I knew I had a shot.
So, in fact, I was on vacation. That year, the company that I worked for canceled every one of my vacations. And this was December, and I was finally getting a vacation in. And a friend of mine said, I have a place in Myrtle Beach. Go down, use the place. I'll come down midway during the week. We'll go golfing. We'll do this. We'll do that. Well, my friend was never able to make it, so I was, in fact, on vacation by myself. And I was reading a book, drinking a sampler of beer, eating a salad, and this man came up behind the bar, this is the part he won't tell you, wearing this cockeyed fishing hat, this Henley shirt, these crazy rubber boots, had his pant legs rolled up, looked kind of goofy, and I assumed he was the bartender for some reason, and said, "What do you think of the beer?" And I was a little honest with him, I think.
Brutally honest.
Brutally honest. The porter that he made was exceptional, and I told him so. And there was another beer that just was not so. It tasted very watered down. And I won't tell you exactly what I said to him because it's not too kind. But that said, he said, "Hi, I'm Jason. I'm the brewer." And of course, I didn't stop. That's when I said, "Really? You brewed this garbage? This is terrible." And I just went off, and he said, "That's it. I'll fix you. I'll marry you."
So we continued to chat, and I tried to explain my lack of flavorful beer that was part of my sampler as, one, it was a contingency upon working there. They required to have a American light lager clone beer, and that was my second or third attempt to make it somewhat more palatable than it was when I took over the brewery, and I actually changed it by turning it into a light.
Oh no, you turned it into a Mexican lager.
I turned it into a Mexican style lager, which ended up working, but by that point I had already been involved with the girl who I would say sped up the recipe formulation changing process very quickly.
So I went home from vacation the very next day. Jason sent me home with a couple growlers of beer, and I knew right then I was in love. It was great beer, and I loved him. And we saw each other long distance after that. We met back up in several cities. Where did we go? Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. We were in Atlantic City. We were in Las Vegas. And we dated literally all over the country until which time I was living in Pittsburgh at the time and said, "I think it's time for you to move closer to me." And I said, "They're hiring in Western Maryland at this brewery there." To which Jason said, "Oh, I can't make it for an interview. I haven't updated my resume. I haven't, what else? I'm fishing that day. I'm brewing that day." 10,000 excuses.
I had actually had a production schedule planned out for the week. The resume response was accurate. I hadn't updated my resume. I don't even know if I had a resume at that point.
I updated it for him.
But I was told that the resume was sent, the interview was set up, and if I wanted to continue the relationship, I would be at the interview at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning.
And he was.
And I was. And that job moved us closer together.
Yeah.
And we eventually ended up moving closer together by moving together to Delaware. Mm-hmm. But every one of our weekend trips while we were dating long distance did involve a brew pub.
Yes, it did.
Atlantic City was Tun Tavern. Mm-hmm. Las Vegas was Lucky Seven.
Lucky Seven.
At the Monte Carlo.
Yeah. Good memory.
And Baltimore was
The Brewer's Art.
The Brewer's Art.
which is still one of my favorites.
So we met at a brewery. She continues to support me in my brewing endeavors, which I'm very appreciative of. And we also continue to make brew pubs and breweries part of our beer vacations and travels. We just recently returned from a trip to Myrtle Beach,
South Carolina.
We returned to the scene of the crime for the first time in 13 years. And while the brewery that I worked at wasn't there, we did visit a couple of the breweries that are in town, and we continue to make our love of craft beer part of what we enjoy doing when we're out and about.
And I'm incredibly fortunate to be married to this man now, and we have 2 lovely children, Grayson and Delaney. And most folks, when they have babies, get shower gifts, right? I got beer. So I was lucky enough that when my son was born, I got an amazing Dunkelweizen that we actually still have some at home.
You do still have some?
And we had a naming contest for it. It was an amazing Dunkelweizen. When my daughter was born, we got a chocolate milk stout, if I recall correctly, that was then featured on CNBC and was award-winning, which is kind of fun. So we consistently have beer on tap in the house. I'm the lucky one that as we go to football games and go various places on the weekends, I can just put in my order of exactly what I want, and there it is. It's either on tap at home or it comes home in a growler, which is a beautiful thing.
It is one of the benefits of being able to take your work home with you.
Exactly.